Hello boys, welcome to another Terraria Boss review. Last time I finished the Vitality mod and absolutely loved it, but today we're moving on to a new mod, the Ophioid mod. It adds 2 boss fights, but one is a rematch of the other, so I'll be covering the full mod today. And I gotta say, in the rematch fight, the dude is an absolute unit. It was horrible, but I'll talk more about that later. For now, that's enough rambling. Enjoy. First is the Ophiopede. He's a post-mech boss and you can make his summon item with like every soul in the game, and also items from your Crimson or Corruption world. He's similar to the Destroyer or Eater of Worlds, but I found this annoying glitch. Because my arena was at my ocean biome, he sometimes just went out of bounds, and then he wouldn't come back. That kinda sucked. Yeah, I had to take him over to my asphalt arena that I had made for invasions, but it still worked. His attacks are just like being a worm, shooting spikes, summoning slimes, making these poisonous mushrooms that spew some sort of mushroom stuff at you, and this. Definitely the strongest one. It's just like a bunch of projectiles all over your screen, and any of his attacks can give you a bunch of debuffs. He wasn't too bad though. The rematch fight is where it got stupid. See, now he's a post-golem boss with 4 times the health before. Phase 1 is basically the same, just like I said, he has a bunch more health and attack and defense, whatever. But then he gets all these circles on his head, and you have to kill them to begin Phase 2, Metamorphosis. Here, you're meant to kill all the flies carrying him, but the thing is they're way faster than you, and when they get too far away from you, they just despawn. Just to keep up with him, I had to get a Fishron mount in the rain, but you're supposed to fight him before Duke Fishron, so that was kind of cheating. Also, after like the 3rd try, I just used the Zenith to get back to Phase 2. Call that cheating also, but I was tired of spending 10 minutes fighting him just for him to despawn on me. Once all the flies are dead, they drop him and he turns into a fly. I don't think that's quite how Metamorphosis works, but whatever. From here, his attacks are a series of lasers, dashes, and shooting spikes, and I died so much, but I'll talk about that more in the next segment. For the first fight, I used Summoner, and that went pretty smoothly, so if Summoner can beat them, I'm pretty sure just about anything can. The second fight was a completely different story though. I couldn't win with Summoner, so I opted for ranged, but I was getting like no DPS and also died a bunch, so then I tried melee with the Vampire Knife strategy, and that worked pretty well, but it was taking a long time. Also, I used the Flying Dragon because of the way my arena was set up. The majority of the time he would be underground, and the Flying Dragon goes through blocks, so I could still hit him that way. As I said, the Metamorphosis state sucked and I had to increase my mobility for it. For the Ophiofly bit though, I could not get past him. No matter what strategy I used, even with solar gear, I kept dying. So, as much as I didn't want to, I put the difficulty down to expert. And then I got him. The loot was honestly pretty mid. They both had relics and pets. The Ophiopede also had a trophy and mask. There was no custom weapons or armor because this is literally just a boss fight mod. It says that in the title of the mod. The first fight drops all the souls though, so I mean that's pretty helpful. You're always needing more of those. He also has super healing potions, which I thought was nice because typically you can't get those until much later. The flying one drops the same stuff, but he also gives the lunar fragments. When I first saw this, I was like, hold up, this breaks game progression, but you can't do anything with them until you beat the cultists, so actually it doesn't. All it does is make in-game way less grindy. I'll give a different score for each fight. The Ophiopede gets a 6.5 out of 10, 2 for creativity, 1.5 for loot, and 3 for progression. He felt kinda like a Destroyer clone, so only 2 for creativity. His loot wasn't anything special, but it was kinda good, so for the first time I'm giving half of a point, and unlike the other, it did fit progression pretty well, so 3 on that. The Ophiofly, however, gets 6 out of 10. 3 for creativity, 2 for loot, and 1 for progression. The rematch and evolving was a really cool idea, I thought. Once again, the loot wasn't too special, but it makes in-game better, and I already spoke about progression. It needs to be nerfed or placed higher on the boss list or something. Or maybe I just suck at Terraria and it's a perfect boss. But if you made it this far, thank you so much, homie, and rather than having a normal outro, I'ma do a good old death compilation, so I'm out.